Agile and Lean have separate origins. Even though they optimize for different things, they fit really well together. They both guide us on how we can improve the way we work and the way we deliver value. Agile teaches us to mobilize brainpower into self-organizing teams. Teams learn and adopt in order to maximize outcome and impact. Lean has a lot to teach us about how to optimize for flow of work, both within teams but also cross teams and through our organization. I might return to the history of Lean and other aspects of Lean in future episodes, but today I'm going to try to give in a nutshell explanation of Lean. What do Lean have to teach us about resolving a bottleneck, to reach flow, and how to maintain flow? And I'm going to use the traffic jam as a metaphor. No metaphor is perfect, and it breaks down if you try to overanalyze it. I, however, find this one useful for explaining Lean and flow. Welcome to the premiere episode of this channel. My name is Janlén. When we're stuck in traffic, we tend to forget that we are traffic. Same thing at work. We often talk about how we have dependencies on others, waiting for replies, are depending on other teams to do their work before we can continue ours. But we tend to forget that we ourselves belong to the very same system and that our actions and behaviors impact others, other teams, and other people. The term Lean uses for a traffic jam is a bottleneck. But let's use the traffic jam as a metaphor to explore what Lean has to teach us about resolving bottlenecks and how to maintain and increase flow long term. But first, let's ask ourselves a more basic question. Where do you even start if everything seems to have grinded to a halt? Where would you start to optimize flow here? If you want to, please pause the video and give it some thought. Where would you start and what would you do? The way I see it, you can't do nothing while the road is this crammed with traffic. There's no room to build roundabouts, repair potholes that forces cars to go around them. You can't broaden the road. You can't even put up traffic signs to help traffic in cross sections. Well, not to mention making space for construction work on road safety measures, such as safety barriers, speed bumps, pedestrian crossings, etc. There is no room to improve anything as long as the system is overloaded. So that's where we need to start. We need to relieve pressure from the system. But before we explore how to do that, let's look at some weird behaviors that arise when there is a traffic jam in our workflows. Some of these behaviors even makes the situation worse. So here we have a bottleneck. Something has happened to cause a traffic jam, incident, accident or something, which kind of grinds traffic to a halt. But the cause of a bottleneck isn't always as dramatic as an accident or a total breakdown of our test environments or something like that. Sometimes the progress of a team has grinded to a halt due to maybe too many dependencies for too long, involvement in too many high-priority company initiatives, forcing them to multitask between major efforts. Maybe they have a mountain of technical debt accumulated, making every change really hard. Maybe there's a lack of test automation that has buried them in work in manual testing. The reasons for why a team might have grinded to a halt are many. But no matter the reason, a bottleneck in our system can cause many weird, unproductive behaviors. Let's look at some of them. Well, for starters, we might have people that out of frustration start to break the rules or agreed upon protocols for testing or doing safe deployments. Well, this might cause production failures, which might wreak havoc and cause even more work, making the traffic situation even worse. Perhaps you're a person under pressure from stakeholders and customers that want to see progress, and due to the lack of progress, you ask for more status reports and more meetings where you follow up actions, and although this might feel good, you're actually adding more work to the system, and that doesn't help to resolve the bottleneck itself. And maybe to manage it all, you have the desire to hire more project managers to help out with coordination and facilitating these meetings. That won't help the traffic jam either. Perhaps you belong to the group who has authority and mandate over budgets and deadlines, and in order to turn the red progress green, you postpone the deadline, giving the teams more time. This is a nice gesture, of course, and kind of embracing the fact that we won't finish on time. But what tends to happen when we add more time is that people see the opportunity to add even more features and services, thus adding traffic to an already crammed street. And perhaps there are people thinking, well, damn this traffic. Well, whatever. I'm busy waiting, and as long as I'm busy doing something, I'm deserving my paycheck, so I'm just gonna sit here. Well, at least I'm not making the situation any worse, since I'm not adding work. But to make a bad situation even worse, what if we have an urgency, a really critical production failure that we need to address? There is no slack in the system, no people available to cope with this. Horrible situation, right? So, what do Lean teach us about resolving a traffic jam like this, a bottleneck in our workflow? First of all, we need to stop new traffic. We need to severely limit the number of new projects and initiatives so that we can get control over the situation, not making it worse. And then we need to reduce pressure on the system itself and make room for improvements. And this is probably the hardest discussion to have. Which projects and initiatives should we pause for now and maybe resume later on once we've reached a steady flow and are back in control? Tough conversation, but you need to have it. And now that we have a lot of free, competent, skilled people, they can help out to get the work that is stuck unstuck, push it past the finish line. And furthermore, they can work on preventive measures like broadening the road or automating tests or make the deploy procedure more safe, improving it for the future. And eventually, if we're at this for a while, the work that has been stuck is now unstuck and finished, allowing for other works to flow through. The road has been broadened a little so that we can let more cars through at the same time. And we're back to seeing a steady, nice pace of traffic or work flowing through our system of people and teams. But moving on, what do Lean have to teach us about maintaining this nice flow of traffic? What can we do to ensure that once you get onto the highway, you know that you are going to reach your destination safe and fast? Well, first of all, we need to limit the number of cars we let onto the highway. We need to limit our work in progress. And this can be tricky. If we set the limit too low, we're not going to use the competence of the people to the fullest. Some of them will be busy, but while others will feel bored and feeling that they can't contribute to what's going on right now. If you set the limit too high, allowing the team to pull too much work in, well, they're soon going to start to multitask and we're gradually building up for another traffic jam in the future. So my advice is start low and then gradually increase your limit of work in progress until you find a good balance. But never take on so much work that you don't have slack in the system. Don't plan the week or the sprint to the brim. You want room to handle urgent work and to do improvement efforts. And finally, don't start new work unless you're finished with the previous one. And I don't mean just finished with your subtask. I mean you as a team have actually delivered your product or feature to the customer. That's when you start something new. And if you do these things, we're even going to have the capacity to deal with urgent situations, unforeseen critical events in production, or this new request that the stakeholder really screams for without disrupting the system or causing a new traffic jam. So let's summarize. Visualize your flow of work so that you can spot cues and upcoming traffic jams. Limit work in progress. Don't multitask on too much work on too many projects at the same time. Finish, then start something new. And optimize for flow. Do everything in your power to reduce your lead time. And lead time refers to when you start working on something, that's when you start the timer, and the timer stops when it is delivered to your user and customer. I'm not talking work hours, I'm talking calendar days. And once you've optimized for flow, that's when you start to balance for resource efficiency, making sure everyone can maximize their contribution, no one is overburdened or no one is bored or out of work. And finally, improve as a team, learn and adapt together. I'm going to allow myself a little detour here. Sometimes when I'm out driving and I get stuck in these traffic jams, long queues, all lanes are full. I strongly suspect something has happened further down the road to cause this traffic jam. While on the other hand, when I'm driving a usually busy street and there's no cars, well, I suspect the traffic jam is behind me. If you want to know more about lean and lean software development, there are tons of books out there, but I can truly recommend this one. This is Lean, Resolving the Efficiency Paradox. And the efficiency paradox is something we saw manifested in the traffic jam earlier here. And it states that the more an organization tried to be efficient, meaning being busy, the more inefficient they will become. Thank you. I hope this was somehow useful for you, or at least entertaining. In future episodes, I might return to talk more about lean software development, Kanban, how to recognize and hunt for waste, and I would love to return and discuss why multitasking and overloading a system with work causes traffic jams in the first place. If you enjoyed this video, please press like, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell so you get notified when new episodes come up. And please share it with friends and colleagues. That would mean so much to me. And I'm curious, what did you think about the metaphor itself? What was great about it? Where did it fall short? Please leave a comment below. I'm really curious to hear what you have to say. And if you want to get in touch with me or follow me on social media, well, here you can find the places where I hang out. And here next to me, there are some more videos if you want to know more about Agile and Lean. And yeah, I guess that's a wrap. Until next time, explore, have fun, and be safe.